Welcome back. As you know, I'm Eli the Computer Guy here for the Daily Blob, where we say maybe we finally hit the Elon Musk tipping point. Probably not. I'm not going to put my money on the table because God knows why people keep investing in him. But maybe we finally hit the tipping point where we start to actually see the failures. So I kind of think this is interesting with the Cybertruck. So just so you understand, I am a Tesla owner and I never drive the Tesla. My wife and I have a plug-in Ford Escape and my wife has the Model Y Tesla, and I never drive the Model Y Tesla. When she is out of town, I don't drive the Model Y Tesla. Why? Because it's a pretty crap vehicle. Technically, it might be amazing, but the reality is that the Ford Escape was built for me, and the Tesla was built for Elon Musk. And I guess I just don't have the same aesthetic choices that Elon Musk does. Again, when you get into the Ford Escape, you feel like you have good visibility. You feel like everything is where it should be. When you get in the Tesla, I don't know. It's the mirrors. Just everything about it is pretty crappy. And I've talked about this for a while. And I think one of the interesting things is the Cybertruck, came out a little while ago, and we were all told how amazing the Cybertruck was going to be. And now the thing is, for me, I actually used to own an F-150, a Ford F-150. I loved my Ford F-150. Can I tell you the only downside to my Ford F-150, except for the throttle body failing. Throttle body failed a couple times. That was an issue. That's another story. But otherwise, I love my Ford F-150, except for the size. It was a land yacht. When we moved to Asheville, trying to drive a F-150 around everywhere was just a complete pain in the ass. But as a normal truck, driving a trailer around, putting gravel in the back and that type of thing, it was an absolutely awesome vehicle. And when I looked at the Cybertruck, and Elon Musk saying this was going to be the future, for trucks, I just didn't really understand. The high walls on the side of the truck doesn't really make sense for loading mulch or gravel or dirt into the back of it. There's just a lot of design choices that were just not good for truck owners. If you want to drive your truck from your suburban house to your office and pretend to be a man, to be an alpha dog, it seemed like a fine vehicle. It's bulletproof. It's bulletproof, I guess. But if you actually needed to, do work with it, do something useful with it, it really didn't seem like it made a damn bit of sense. But I don't know. I just owned a truck and used a truck for what you use trucks for. But anyways, I was told how stupid. You're just dumb, Eli. Okay, fair enough. You don't understand. Fair enough, I don't. So anyways, I think this is interesting because I heard so much about how the Cybertruck was going to be successful. And apparently, Cybertruck sales are now at around 5,000 per quarter. Already. This is a relatively new vehicle, year and a half old, been out on the market. They were supposed to be producing 250,000 of these things per year. That was going to be the demand for a man's truck. And apparently, when you have a man's truck that isn't in fact very useful, people don't buy it. Wacky, surprising, shocking. When you see these things get stuck in the mud, when you see these things get stuck in the snow, when you see these things like the trailer hitch thing, seen a few people testing out the trailer hitch. Oh, that would scare me. That would scare me. But anyways, it appears that, Cybertruck is not doing so well. Tesla has confirmed through its delivery report that Cybertruck sales have now dropped to approximately 5,000 units per quarter. After planning for production capacity of over 250,000 units per year, Tesla is currently selling the pickup truck at a rate of approximately 20,000 units annually. 20,000 compared to what we were told, 250,000. If you go through, let's see here. In comparison, Ford sold more F-150 Lightnings with 5,842 units, despite sales dropping 26% year over year. GM is also outselling the Cybertruck with its electric pickup truck platform, albeit between several models. Automaker announced having deliveries of 3,000 Silverado EVs, but you can also add in 1,500 GMC Sierra EVs. Furthermore, GM confirmed that it delivered 4,500 Hummer EVs, though there's a mix of pickup trucks and SUVs in that. So the interesting thing to see here is in this new Cybertruck platform that the old school competitors are actually beating Tesla. Not, to be clear, not by a lot, but they are actually beating Tesla just in the electric vehicles, and that doesn't go into the gas-powered and the diesel ones, where they're actually just smacking the ever-loving shit out of Tesla, because those are the vehicles that people want in order to do actually work. And so I think this is kind of going to be interesting going forward and seeing like what happens with Tesla. Tesla is so weird at this point, right? You have these body styles, you have this technology. Everything about Tesla at this point is 10 years old. Everything from the technology to the styling to the fit and finish has just been left to essentially rot in the modern world as the CEO, as Elon Musk goes gallivanting around to do everything else in the world other than be the CEO of Tesla. Now, when I talk about this, remember, I used to scream about Jack Dorsey. People think this is an Elon Musk thing, right? Right, Jack Dorsey was a CEO of both Twitter and Square, which turned into Block, and I used to scream a lot before that this was ridiculous. These are multi-billion-dollar technology companies, and, you know, the CEO that's getting outsized compensation. I'm just saying there should be a full-time CEO. This isn't about Musk or even about Jack Dorsey or anybody else, right? If you have these technology companies, you should have a full-time CEO, especially when you're trying to grow. It's one thing if the company was in like some kind of like maintenance mode, right? AOL, right? There was a point when AOL was growing every year, and then there was a point that AOL kind of plateaued. And so if the investors were okay with a plateau, they're like, hey, we're just going to be rent seekers. We are just going to take the money we can out of this company until it dies. Fine, have a part-time CEO. Who the hell cares? But when you have companies like Twitter, like Block, like Tesla, that are in real difficult competitive environments where they are expected to grow year over year, and you have these part-time CEOs, I just do not understand what's going on here. And that's what I've talked about with these electric vehicles is that, as I said, I love my plug-in Ford Escape. I wish, right? We have a Model Y. I genuinely wish I had bought a Mustang Mach-E. It is a better car to drive than the Tesla is. And when you see Tesla, like even with the full self-driving, like one of the problems with Elon Musk continuously lying all of the time is he started lying back in like 2015, right? Full self-driving. It's going to drive you from point A to point B and you're not going to have to do anything, you're not going to have to do anything. Well, the thing is, that's 10 years old, right? He's been selling that idea for 10 years. It was really cool and sexy in 2015. It was like, wow, 2015, that looks cool. And then you saw all the people died who believed him. Can you imagine how bad it would be when you're about to die because you believed Elon Musk, right? That would suck, right? But anyways, right, we've heard about this full self-driving for a decade now. Again, the cars, the Model Y, the Model 3, all of these models are old at this point. The new thing that's gonna come out and shake things up is a Cybertruck, and nobody wants it because it's a piece of crap. It's not actually a truck. It's just a massive brick to prove that you can spend $100,000 on something. And so I'm kind of curious here if this is going to be the start of like the downfall of Elon Musk. I would never bet on it. I would never put money on it, but we all know it's going to come, right? He has been able to avoid his failures, right? That he lies and says something is going to happen and then it doesn't happen, but people keep investing into what he's doing. And then finally he's able to muddle and get something out there. And then he does it again and he does it again and then does it again, right? There's now the robo-taxis, right? Ooh, 10 robo-taxis in Austin in a geo-fenced area with safety drivers. And that's gonna change the world. Waymo is dead now. Waymo is doing 200,000 rides like per week or per month or whatever. They've been doing it for a long time. They're in multiple cities. I think Waymo's doing fine. I'm not quite sure how Waymo's dying because of Tesla, right? Would you know, I think about that. That's the interesting thing they talk about with Tesla, right? The idea is, yeah, well, there's already all these millions of Tesla vehicles on the road. As soon as he turns those into robo-taxis, then he will conquer Waymo. But one, they've already admitted the hardware in many of the Teslas is not up to speed for even the current versions of full self-driving. So if they came out with this new robo-taxi service, they literally have to upgrade the hardware in all of those individual cars, which would be an interesting thing to do. And then the other curious thing to be thinking about this whole robo-taxi thing and everybody's car is a robo-taxi is how do things like insurance work? Right? So if I put my robo-taxi onto Turo or whatever you're supposed to use, somebody gets into my car and then that car gets into an accident, am I going to get sued? Right? I know that's one of the things, like technology professionals don't want to think about this, right? Everything is code. Eli, why do you talk about terms of service and laws and regulations, right? But here's the thing. I think about this with when you're hiring contractors. Like this is a screwed up thing, real world, right? One of the reasons why you want to hire real reputable contractors with insurance is here's an interesting thing, right? If you have uninsured roofers, so you have roofers that are on your roof and they're doing their thing and they're not insured, and one of the roofers falls off your roof, do you know they can fucking sue you? They can sue you for compensation because they were working on your roof when they got hurt. True story. So when all the Musk fanboys out there are like, well, there's gonna be a gazillion robo-taxis, are you willing to take that liability? Are you willing to trust somebody who lies day after day after day after day? Day after day, he lies about the capabilities of his technologies in order to try to increase the value proposition of what he's offering. Are you willing to trust, right, all of your assets to a fucking liar? Because that's the question you have to ask if you put your little taxi, your Tesla, out there as a robo-taxi service, and God knows what the hell happens when it gets out on the road. Is that a liability concern you're interested in, right? Those are kind of things that you have to be thinking about. So anyways, it's kind of curious to wonder, will this start to be the downfall, right? You look at him, he goes in there, he was at the top of his game. He was at the top of his game trying to get Trump elected, right? He got Trump elected. And now Trump's talking about deporting him. That should be a joke. That should be a joke. I talk about Trump trying to deport Elon Musk, and that should be like, well, that's not going to happen. That's stupid. Ooh. 6 months ago, that would have been stupid. Anyways, Trump is talking about deporting Elon Musk. His starships keep exploding. I'm also kind of surprised on that one. His starships keep exploding. Right? The Cybertruck is down at 5,000 units per quarter. Robotaxi is a wet fart as far as that goes. And is this the point where people's confidence in Elon Musk starts to shift? I don't know. Something to ponder, something to think about. What do you think about this with the Cybertrucks and 5,000 units per quarter, 20,000 per year, when they had planned on 250,000? What do you think about that? Do you think the Cybertruck is actually a good truck? If you're like, I need a truck, would you buy the Cybertruck? I'd buy the F-150 Lightning. Ford knows how to build a truck. I need a truck. I think that's one thing like Tesla doesn't seem to understand, Musk doesn't seem to understand. I need a truck that simply has an electric drivetrain. I don't want all the other stuff. I don't want all the I just want a vehicle that happens to be electric. I don't know. What kind of truck would you buy? Is this the beginning of the end of Elon Musk? Is it fitting that he called his company Tesla? Was calling his company Tesla perhaps a little too on the nose? I don't know. Put your thoughts down below. Remember, this is the modern world of social media. Thumb up, thumb down, awesome comment, horrible comment. It is all an interaction. Put your thoughts down below. And with that, I'll see you all later.